A very warm welcome to you as you join us on today's episode of Tax Matters. My name is Olumuyiwa Matuloko. Monday, May 1st was Workers' Day. And so we begin this episode by saying Happy Workers' Day to everyone. Yes, everyone. We're all workers. You know, like they say, even the housewives that work from home work more hours than some of us that report in the office on a daily basis. So, Happy Workers' Day to all. Today's episode of Tax Matters is going to be a potpourri of sorts. You know, it's one of those days where you have so much to say, so many stories to tell that you don't know where to begin. Because it's been a very busy last week of the month of April, this past April. Where do we begin? Is it the merit award that ICANN gave to the FIRS? Is it the story of the deduction ceremony of the CITN? Is it the new heights that the Federal Inland Revenue Service is taking stamp duty administration to? Or is it the international gathering in Abuja on tax and good governance? You know our advice, fasten your seat belts, grab a drink, and get ready for a jolly ride, 25 minutes jolly ride into the world of taxation in Nigeria. And by the way, we hope that you have packed your bags, getting ready for the 19th Annual Tax Conference. Yes, the Annual Tax Conference organized by the CITN is taking place this year, 2017, in Abeokuta, capital of Ogun State, from Wednesday the 17th to Saturday the 20th of May, 2017. See you there. Welcome once again. The program is Tax Matters, and we begin today's stories with the story of the 2017 ICANN Merit Award given to the Federal Inland Revenue Service on Friday, the 20th of April, 2017. At the 2017 Annual Dinner and Awards of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, the Federal Inland Revenue Service was one of the three winners of the Merit Award in the corporate body category, the other two being the Bank of Industry and PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC.
May I invite the Executive Chairman, FIRS, Mr. Babatunde Fowler, with his team to the podium for the award ceremony.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, is Nigeria's federal revenue agency with a mandate to assess, collect, and account for taxes and levies accruable to the Federation. In 2007, the agency was granted administrative and financial autonomy with the enactment of the FIRS Establishment Act No. 13 of 2007. Since its inception, FIRS has completely reformed and restructured the tax assessment, collection, processing, and reporting system in Nigeria. Some of the reforms and initiatives embarked upon under the leadership of the current executive chairman of FIRS, Mr. Babatunde Fowler, include the collection of 3.303 trillion naira in 2016, despite the challenges in the economy. Successful implementation of waiver of interest and penalty program, increased compliance with the provisions of the tax laws, ease of tax payment by ensuring taxpayers' convenience and proximity to tax offices, and reorganization of operations. Also, stamp duty coordination has been created as part of the standards FIRS structure, while commissioners of stamp duties have been appointed. Other key strides include VAT coordination to enhance collection and make remittance of VAT proceeds more efficient through the creation of VAT department and the appointment of VAT monitor at key state capitals. FIRS has also appointed relationship manager in 5 key sectors of aviation, telecoms, banking and other financial services, oil and gas, construction and professional services, conglomerates and multinationals in order to improve close monitoring and personalized service to taxpayers, as well as drive voluntary compliance in the identified sectors. It has also ensured a nationwide expansion of the tax net through a massive registration exercise of new taxpayers since 2015. It created Tax Identification Number (TIN) for all entities registered with CAC-DS and introduced an Integrated Stamp Duty Services (ISDS) portal to facilitate the online assessment and payment of stamp duties. In furtherance of its multi-channel approach to provide easy and convenient service to its esteemed taxpayers, FIRS is currently deploying an electronic tax clearance certificate (ETCC) solution to make TCC issuance process more efficient, timely, seamless, and convenient. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS).
Your Excellency and our Governor of Lagos State, the President and members of Council, would like to appreciate this award. At FIRS, we are aware of the challenges that we have before us, and this award has told us that you have faith in us, and I promise you will not disappoint you. God bless you all. I would also like to dedicate this award to the previous chairman and staff of FFRS and to all the taxpayers. God bless you.
The ICANN Merit Award began in the year 1989 when it was awarded to the doyen of the accountancy profession in Africa, Mr. Akintola Williams. But awards in the corporate category only began in the year 2000. It was indeed a well-deserved honor for the Federal Inland Revenue Service, which is very dear to ICANN's heart, both for the giant strides that it is making in the pursuit of its mandate and as an employer, the biggest employer of ICANN members.
This gentleman and his organization, in our records, is perhaps the employer of the highest number of chartered accountants in Nigeria.
The FRS was indeed in good company. Other recipients of the day in the individual category, both members and non-members, included Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, two-time head of state, Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode, former Deputy Governor of Edo State, Dr. Peter Obadan, the Commissioner for Finance, Kano State, Professor Kabiru Dandago, and Professor Akintoye of Babcock University. Chief Olusegun Obasanjo had this to say about the award-winning executive chairman of the FRS.
Mr. Fowler, I am really impressed by what we have heard you are doing. Do more of it. Thank you very much.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) calls on all corporate organizations operating in Nigeria to register for the purpose of payment of taxes and obtain a tax identification number (TIN). All registered companies must obtain a tax identification number immediately from the nearest FIRS office. You can also collect and return tax registration forms from the Federal Inland Revenue Service Engagement and Enlightenment Tax Teams (FEAT) on compliance checks exercise in your area. A company which is yet to commence business after at least 6 months of incorporation must pay a pre-operational levy of 20,000 naira in the first year and 25,000 naira for subsequent years to obtain its tax clearance certificate (TCC). Note that filing and payment of VAT and withholding tax returns must be done on or before the 21st day of every month. Register for VAT. File all tax returns as and at when due. Be a responsible corporate citizen of Nigeria. It pays to pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Welcome back. The program is still Tax Matters. Do you remember this? Stamp duty, they call it. In the olden days, stamp duty. Or this, deed of assignment, when land or a house passes from one hand to the other, the government has to take note of it, and stamp duty is done. Stamp duty. Stamp duty. When you register a company at the Corporate Affairs Commission, the memorandum of association is stamp duty. Stamp duty. Memorandum of association, registration of company at the Corporate Affairs Commission. Certificate of occupancy, CFO, the almighty CFO, when you buy land and the governor consents to the purchase of the land, stamp duty is done. This is a development from the ink-based one. But you see, all these are about to change. These, no doubt, are evidences that the government has taken note of the transaction. It is an affirmation of an instrument or a document after the payment of due tax in the form of stamp duty. But all these are about to change because stamp duty administration in Nigeria is going digital. In fact, stamp duty administration has gone digital. On Tuesday, the 25th of April 2017, the Stamp Duty Directorate of the Federal Inland Revenue Service organized a training program on what it called Integrated Stamp Duty Services, ISDS, in Abuja. It had in attendance stamp duty commissioners and officers from all stamp duty offices of the Federal Inland Revenue Service across the country. To underscore the importance of the training, the executive chairman of the FRS, Mr. Batunde Fala, was personally in attendance. What is Integrated Stamp Duty Service?
This is an idea that came up from the drive of the executive chairman to ensure that we run a service that is technology driven. The whole world, as you and I may know, is already digitalized. We can no longer continue to do things in the old manner. Stamp duties happen to be one of the many taxes that FRS collects. Like you're aware, we have several other taxes. But then we are focusing today, zeroing in on stamp duty as a major tax that we collect. And we know the way we used to collect this in the time past. What do we do? Our clients come in with physical documents. They go to the stamp duty commissioners who assesses this tax, and then they go back to the bank to go and pay. This is an old way that we can no longer continue to sustain. The reason why we are here today is to consign that kind of practice to the books of history. The chairman believes seriously and strongly that we need to revolutionize the way we collect taxes in Nigeria. And this is just one of several steps that we are doing. More are going to come on board as the time goes on, and I'm sure they will be unveiled unto us. And why we are here today is to enlist you to buy into this program, such that you and I, as workers in FRS, can go forward in there and transform the vision of the chairman to a reality, so that the tax-paying Nigerians will know there is a paradigm shift in the way we do things.
So what is the trigger? Why now?
We are aware that CAC, the Corporate Affairs Commission, another sister agency that has to do with how we conduct business in Nigeria, have set a deadline of Friday this month, 28th to be precise, that come that day, they will no longer process any of their application manually. What that means, therefore, is that our customers who used to carry paper to us when they deal with CAC and bring to our offices for us to stamp, we have no paper to bring to us. So therefore, we have no choice. Also, we have no choice, we cannot be left behind. But thankfully enough, this administration before now has been thinking about this. And so we already have a system in place. And that is why we are gathered together today. That system is already being used here in Abuja. The reason why you are here is that you can be trained here today, and then you can go back to train your colleagues when you get back to your various offices.
Mr. Aino went ahead to reel out the features of the new system.
Rather than people carrying physical paper and going to the bank, they can make their payment online. It has an email notification so that when this transaction is completed, the taxpayer can be notified of what has taken place. Also, in the time past, when they go away with the document, we don't even have a record substantially of what type of document we have stamped. What does it contain? We don't have a database of what we are stamping. This initiative will provide such a database for us. At the end of this session, of what we are doing today, this initiative is going to lead to ease of completing stamp duty payment. No doubt about that. is going to ease compliance by taxpayers. Oftentimes, we all hear the statistic. Ease of doing business, Nigeria is 169 out of 190. Part of the problem is some of these things that we are trying to solve now. By the time the taxpayer do not necessarily have to visit our offices before they can stamp their document, then we are definitely going a step higher in terms of ease of doing business. It's also going to increase speed and accuracy, among several. And in view of the fact that we are integrated with CAC, it also becomes easy for us to automatically generate TIN for new companies who are registering. These and many other advantages are what we expect.
This is one of the models of how we should be working together. We have a lot of automation projects. As Mr. Aina has already told us, we are going from the era, we are migrating from the era of manual paper-based stamp duties to the electronic stamp duties. The old system was tedious and cumbersome, and it made a lot of people to be discouraged. It reduced voluntary compliance. I just want to encourage each and every one of us to embrace this platform and to encourage our taxpayers to also embrace the platform, because it is possible to do, to pay for stamp assessment, payment, collection, and reporting of stamp duties, as well as the verification online without physically visiting any FRS office.
In his own remarks, Mr. Fala reiterated the importance of the work of the FRS to everybody and indeed to all tiers of government.
What we collect is shared between the federal, states, and local governments, so the states will not be losing out. We'll just become more efficient. Now, in terms of the collection, I did ask for the collection figures. In 2014, we collected about 11 billion, and in 2016, 6 billion. Now, some of you might say it's an issue of the economic downturn. No, it's not. Maybe it was partly because we are not ready. But I think now we are ready. And I believe that the year 2017 should be a turning point for us all. During this training session, no question is foolish. It's just a matter of sharing ideas and sharing information. So please make the best of it.
In this training, no question is foolish, so make the best of it. With that charge from the big masquerade, the one-day training workshop went into full gear. First, this promise from Mr. ITT Jimo, the National Commissioner for Stamp Duties at the FRS.
I want to encourage you to please, let's do the business the way we're supposed to do the business. I promised the chairman, said that our revenue is not good enough. But with what he has put in place, that's written to all the state governors, the Minister for Finance, the Minister for Petroleum, on what they need to do on stamp duty to give us information. And I'm promising him this morning that by the time we got all this information, we'll be sure to deliver at least minimum of 5 billion every month.
The full story of this training workshop and the deliverables from the new system will come to you in a subsequent episode of Tax Matters, plus the full-length interview we conducted with Mr. Jimo. Stay tuned. The following day, Wednesday, April 26th, Mr. Fala was back at the same venue to flag up yet another event, this time a 3-day international conference and capacity building on the use of beneficial ownership information and the recovery of assets in Africa, jointly hosted by the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit. The multi-stakeholder initiative was organized in cooperation with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, the World Bank, the EFCC of Nigeria, and the African Development Bank, among others. Nigeria's Honorable Federal Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, was represented at the opening ceremony by the Director of Technical Services at the Ministry of Finance, Mrs. Laraba Shuaib. On hand to lend support to Mr. Fala were the Acting Executive Chairman of the EFCC, Malam Ibrahim Magu, and the Head of the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, Mr. Francis Phillips Usani. The Special Advisor on Economic Matters to the President, Dr. Adeyemi Dipeolu, was chairman of one of the various sessions at the 3-day international conference. Again, like the preceding story on the integrated stamp duty services, the story of this 3-day international conference on money laundering and recovery of assets will come to you in greater details, in fuller details, in a subsequent episode of Tax Matters. Take this teaser
What I'm talking about today basically is the Nigerian experience in confronting tax evasion, corruption, and money laundering. Now, when we look at the topic, people generally believe that when you talk about corruption, you're referring to a few government officials sitting down somewhere and cutting away government money. Corruption basically deals with anything that is wrong or illegal. So when you're dealing with tax evasion, it's also corruption. When you're dealing with the theft of government money, it's also corruption. Money laundering is also corruption. So basically, when you have a situation of corruption, it means that you're taking away from the general society what belongs to them, thereby impacting negatively their standard of living, among other things.
We have 170 people here from almost 20 countries. We have 6 international organizations. But what I'm particularly pleased of is that we have representatives from the FIUs, from the customs departments, the tax departments, justice ministries, everybody that has to engage in this fight against illicit financial flows. So I'm sure over the next 2.5 days we're going to have a very fruitful discussion.
170 persons from across the world, 6 international organizations. It was a huge gathering of eggheads with one single goal: how to stem illicit financial flows. And indeed, they had fruitful deliberations. We also spoke to some of the anchors of the 3-day event. Join us then.
Every day, my people dey for work. Some dey do office work, some get them own business. So all of them want good road, constant power for better life. Oh, whether na office work, oh yeah, pay your tax. Whether na your own business, oh, pay your tax. If you want a better life, oh, pay your tax. Now your civic responsibility, pay your tax. Better soup, now money cook am. Oh yes. Nothing goes for nothing, my brother. If you want potable water, security and hospital for make life jolly.
That's right. Good roads, good hospitals, portable water, adequate security all come from taxpayers' money. Play your part in making Nigeria great. Everybody, small scale, big companies, entrepreneurs, do the right thing. Pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
Welcome once again. We are coasting home, and the last story of the day is the story of the induction ceremony of the CITN, at which 241 members were welcomed into the ranks of tax practitioners, registered, licensed tax practitioners. The event took place on Thursday, the 27th of April in Lagos. The event was presided over by the president of the institute, Dr. Mrs. Teju Shomaoni.
Your decision to become members of this noble profession is a wise choice because taxation has now become the beautiful pride being courted by all. In my keynote address earlier on, I harped on the need for you as will-be members of the tax profession to eschew all forms of professional misconduct and uphold the integrity of the institute that has always been consciously guided by all committed members of the institute. This admonition, distinguished inductees, you should take it very, very seriously, as the Institute Council frowns at any conduct deemed to be at variance with the code of conduct of members. I now enjoin you all to raise up your right hands, and you now take the oath of allegiance as follows. So I do solemnly swear that I shall always comply with the provisions of the Institute's charter, bear true allegiance.
A special guest of honor was the head of service of Imo State, Mr. Callistus Ekenze, a fellow of the CITN, who at one time was the chairman and chief executive of the Imo State Board of Internal Revenue. The registrar and chief executive of the CITN seized the occasion of the induction to invite the new inductees and all taxation stakeholders to the 19th Annual Tax Conference of the CITN, which will hold in this year 2017 in Abeokuta, the capital of Ogun State.
The annual tax conference, which is the largest gathering of tax professionals in Africa, is expected to be attended by professionals, technocrats, new inductees, and other key stakeholders drawn from a broad spectrum of the local and international environments. Members should use the opportunity of the conference to broaden their knowledge on contemporary and emerging trends in the practice of taxation and also garner the required credit hours. The 19th edition of the conference shall be held at Green Legacy Resort, Okemoson, Abeokuta, Ogun State, from Wednesday 17th to Saturday 20th of May 2017. Registration is done online at www.citnevents.org.
And as we asked you at the beginning, have you packed your bags? Are you ready? See you at the annual tax conference. And see you next week on this same station, same day of the week, same time of the day, for an exciting episode of Tax Matters. We'll be treating one of the stories covered on this episode in greater details. See you around.